Section 1.3 goes over subtraction of whole numbers. So some terms that we want to listen for or look for to make sure that's the operation we're going to be performing. Subtracted from, or just subtract. So subtract 3 from 9. So that means it's going to be 9 minus 3. Less than. So that's another key phrase. Decreased by, or the difference of, or difference between. So whenever we hear less than, difference, or decrease, we know that we're going to be subtracting. So those are some key phrases or terms that we want to remember. So let's do some easy subtraction, and just like addition, the easiest way to do it by hand is to make sure you write it vertically, and then just line up your ones with your ones, your tens with your tens, your hundreds with your hundreds. So in this first one, we have 99 minus 47. Now, because we're dealing with whole numbers, you want to remember that the bigger number needs to be on top. So if you get confused on how to write it, just make sure that the bigger number is on top. When we get into the chapter on integers, we could have a smaller number on top. We could have 47 minus 99. But for chapter 1, all the big numbers. So 99 is greater than 47. So we want to make sure we put the big number on top. 542 is bigger than 288. So make sure it goes on top. And then we just want to make sure that we line the ones up with the ones and the tens with the tens. All right, so our first one, 99 minus 47, is pretty simple. We're just going to look at the ones place and do 9 minus 7. 9 minus 7 is just going to be 2. Nothing else to do there. We're done. We look at the 10 and we do 9 minus 4. So the tens place, we go ahead and subtract that. 9 minus 4 is 5. So a nice thing about subtraction is if we work backwards and do the opposite operation, so the opposite of subtraction is addition, we could do 52 plus 47 and it should equal 99. And so that's a way that we can check ourselves, check our work to make sure we got the right answer. So 99 minus 47 is 52. So that's really easy, where each digit above is larger or greater than the digit below, and we don't have to do any canceling or borrowing, okay? So our next problem is going to use a little bit of borrowing just to help refresh our memory and make sure we remember how to do that and why we do it, okay? So 542 minus 288. 2 minus 8. So if we're learning integers, 2 minus 8 would be negative 6, but we can't put negative 6 there. So what do? Well, in whole number subtraction, what we're going to do is, instead of having this as a 2, let's make it a 12, okay? So we're going to make it a 12, so we can do 12 minus 8, because we can take 8 from 12. It's a smaller number, okay? But we added 10 to that 2. To make it go from 2 to 12, we added 10. So where do we take that 10 from? Well, we took it from the tens place. So instead of having 4 tens, we have 3 tens now, because we took 10 of it and put it over here in the ones place. So now this is going to become a 3. Okay? So 12 minus 8 is going to be 4. So we're done subtracting the ones place. So let's move on to the tens place now. So now we have 3 minus 8. Okay, now we got to do it again, because this 3 is smaller than the 8. We can't take 8 from 3. So what do? Well, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to borrow. This time, since we're in the tens place, we're going to borrow 100. So we're going to go ahead and make this, instead of it being, we'll say 40, we're going to make it 130. Okay, so we're borrowing 100, and where are we borrowing it from? The hundreds place, so that 5 is going to become a 4. So now we have 13 minus 8, which is 5, and then we're done subtracting the tens place, so we can move on over to the hundreds, and 4 minus 2 equals 2. You should never have to borrow on the last number. If you get here and when you are all done with it, this number is smaller than this, then you did something wrong somewhere. So on this very last subtraction column, you shouldn't have to borrow anything. The number on top should always be larger or the same. It might be 4 minus 4 or 1 minus 1, but this number should always be equal to or greater than the number that's on the bottom. So this is just a brief review in borrowing.